title of Shakespeare's play that we are doing at the University of Evansville is somewhat taboo to say in a theater space.
Over the years, those of us in the theater believe that there is a curse connected with the play.
I personally don't believe in it. Is the like gonna fall on me? But the Scottish play has been linked in the past to, if you've said the name of the play in a theater, bad things happen. That's why we call it the Scottish play.
You know, I've seen a lot of productions of Macbeth, but I'm not aware of it deserving the title, the Scottish play. And so I said to my designers, why is that?
Scotland is one of the big contributors in the overall image for the show. He wants to be very Scottish, very Scottish.
The main thing for the show is that it's Scottish in the time period.
Well, Shakespeare wrote the play to be set in the 11th century. We have pushed the time period forward a little bit to better accommodate things like kilts, bagpipe music.
The first thing I think people think about when they think Scottish is kilts.
We are doing kilts. Most of the men are having kilts.
I know in rehearsal, I need to be able to feel confident moving around in a man's skirt.
Rehearsal clothes. The purpose is so that you get used to moving in a garment that is similar to what you'll be wearing on stage. Important.
With rehearsal clothes, you do the best you can to match what you're wearing. I wear a long, flowy skirt in rehearsal, and the men are in skirts right now because they don't have kilts quite yet.
A lot of the men are actually wearing knee-length circle skirts.
Many of them are wearing my skirts, so that's pretty exciting. Macbeth is wearing my skirt, and he looks pretty good in it.
I don't wear a kilt to rehearsal. Ben does, which is lovely.
You're much nimbler with a kilt on than you are with pants or shorts or whatever another character would wear.
Scenically, we're abstract. The fact that it's set in Scotland, and yet we're not trying to recreate the Scottish countryside, but allude to it.
John David brought in this National Geographic of actual stones from the area in Scotland where we're going to be. That became the impulse for the scenery.
We have these monolith type of stones that are reminiscent of Stonehenge, but it's the Stonehenge of Scotland.
And the floor is this Celtic knot that sort of grew out of stone research that we found. So the set came first, really, and then the witches came next, because they sort of grow out of that world.
They're going for a sort of like primal, grimy, dirty look, but that's also like sexy.
We want them to look magical and kind of ephemeral. But we also want them to look very earthy, like they've been in a coal mine for 10 years.
They're earthly, they're with the wind, they're natural.
We have to grow out our armpit hair.
But they're also evil, and they're black, and they're dark.
They started with the witches as far as her concept for costumes and built out. So it's like the whole show now is going to have this sort of grimy, disgusting, but still interesting to look at feel.
Miss Patty is constantly telling us primitive, very raw. I'm doing a lot of that with the leather working and the crowns. They still look nice, but they're not made out of metal, they're made out of leather.
It's a world where they've just come from the battlefield, so they're very dirty and there's lots of blood. We're trying to create a dangerous, dark, exotic, seductive world.
There is a lot of blood, and there's a lot of dirt and things like that. So we have to keep the hair very much in the period, which for the ladies means really long, flowing, braided hair. And for the men means kind of scruffy beards and longer hair.
I think it was beginning of July, we got an email.
It was just an email that said, hey guys, if you're trying out for Macbeth, don't shave. And then it was a picture of Tom Hanks from Castaway.
And then this thing started coming out of my face.
This beard is the result of 3 months, I believe.
I'd forgotten how red his hair is, and so he has this full, bushy red beard. It gives a great presence as well.